And they just like, you know what I mean? Come on.
It's time to breathe again. Time to breathe again on the latest Bofa Sports webcast, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So, a couple of things before we get started. You might have seen Patrick as we were coming on here with a gun motion, and basically we were responding off of the news that the New York Knicks fired Tom Thibodeau as head coach today. So we'll get to that. We'll touch on that in a little bit. And also, Aaron, nice to see you on here tonight. And I see that you have a question asking, what is the STFU Club? Well, the STFU Club, which I'm pretty sure what's going on. And I'm pretty sure you knew that, Aaron. You just want to hear us say it.
Yeah, you just want to hear us say it, Aaron. That's all that is. Oh, Aaron, dude, we watched your thing. That was pretty cool. And all the views that you got, man, like all the camera views that you got, that was freaking insane, dude. That was freaking insane. We got to put his link when you do the description. You need to put his link to that show because like people need to see that. That was pretty cool from those views.
Yes, Aaron. So yeah, we, for the people who are tuning in, so Aaron, yeah, you're welcome, dude. That was pretty tight. But yes, he was at the NFL draft in Green Bay, and Aaron got interviewed by NBC 26. It was Green Bay.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, NBC 26. That was it. But dude, all the camera views that you got with all the dude.
Awesome.
Pretty good, man. That was pretty good. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, so the context of the STFU Club is when people say stuff that is crazy and dumb and makes no sense.
Draymond Green.
Yep. They get inducted into the STFU Club.
New York Knicks fans.
Well, what we'll have to do is put together a graphic of all the people who have made it in the club. And so,
like I said, Charles, we said this many times, make a graphic of the people that's not in it. It's a shorter list. We've had so many people, and we got like nominees that's been in there 4 times.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, so we're
Draymond Green.
Yeah, we'll have to put Draymond Green times 4 or
LeBron James
times 5. And so, oh man, so that is the context of the STFU Club. And again, Aaron, that was cool what you were able to get. Charles Barkley said some crazy stuff.
I think he's been in it twice.
Yeah, but I think Barkley's been on there twice. But Barkley's all right for the most part. And now there are some things where you're just wondering, come on. Yeah.
Like, don't go there.
So Barkley been on there probably twice, not as much. I want to say Draymond Green has been on there more than anybody else. No, it's probably LeBron. LeBron's been on there.
LeBron's been in there quite a few. Draymond Green's been in there quite a few, and there's
Aaron Rodgers has been in there a good.
Aaron Rodgers, I think, is the one that's capped it at. I think he's trying to set a cap at 20.
Yeah.
It ain't happening.
There's no caps. No caps. Like you going on here is as much as needed.
I think he's testing the waters to see how far he can go. I can't wait till he's in the middle of me and you on our screen, and we're like,
no.
He's like, this reminds me of Pat McAfee, and then we bust his ass, and then he's like, this ain't Pat McAfee at all. I don't like it.
No, Aaron, it won't be Cayenne and Enema time. Not. At least we don't plan to talk about Aaron Rodgers tonight, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we just.
But let's get started with the NBA Finals. So the matchup is set You have the Indiana Pacers coming out of the Eastern Conference, matching up with the OKC Thunder from the Western Conference. Should be I think this is going to be a pretty good series. I think it'll go 6 games. I do have OKC winning the series, but it's going to be. And so I think OKC will save the world, Aaron. I do. But Indiana is going to go down swinging. They have a great coach, a championship coach in Rick Carlisle. They have a roster just like OKC does. And they play well. Like, everybody knows their roles. They're just a cohesive unit. So this is going to be I think, a great exhibition of team basketball that you have with these deep rosters. Each of them can go 10 or 11 deep. And I just think this is going to be a really fun series, regardless of what the NBA and some of the media might say, because of the market size, which is dumb. If you're a basketball fan, then you'll watch the series. Don't be a basketball fan, and then all of a sudden your team ain't in it. I'm not going to watch it. Then that means you're not a basketball fan. So,
well, I mean, I'm not a huge basketball fan unless it's March Madness.
You watch the series though.
I'll pay attention to it. But I probably won't watch it. I'll pay attention.
But like
it's not like College World Series where I'm watching that every season. And Georgia got put out by Oklahoma State, and I'm sitting here going, yeah, but I still got to see it for Arkansas, because Arkansas was my preseason pick, and they're still in it. 3 years running, baby. 3 years running.
But you're, like you said, you're not a huge basketball fan. So like you said, if you're a baseball fan, and then you're just like, oh, no, I'm not going to watch it because Georgia went out, then you're not a
baseball fan. No.
You're a Georgia fan. And if your team is gone, then you obviously don't care about whatever else happens. So don't call yourself a baseball fan.
Yeah. I stopped watching NBA around Game 3 of the season when the Hawks were 0-3, and I was like, Hawks are out, so.
What is up with you?
Bye, basketball.
What is up with you wanting everybody to sell teams? What is going on, Patrick? What's wrong?
Look, I just need Georgia to win everything. That's all I need. I'm not asking for much. I want the Hawks to win. I want the Braves to win. I want the Falcons to win. I want the Georgia Bulldogs to win everything. So, I mean, look, what am I asking that is too much? And don't you dare put me in the STFU Club.
No way. Did you see Aaron's comment? Yeah. And so
we ain't winning shit, are we?
Patrick, so for people who don't know, Aaron said, Patrick, can you confirm that driver education and sobriety will be a new major in Georgia or at Georgia?
Hey, look, I can't say anything, Charles. You know how I was when I was younger. I can't say anything.
Georgia did have a rash of DUIs that was happening, so
we still do.
And so I can see right here. I mean, for a while, Texas did too. I can't sit here and act like we just great partying down there in Austin. Yeah, very exciting.
Yeah, but in Texas, we all know it ain't illegal until you steal the cop car.
You're so stupid. I can't
all know that.
It's true. Can't say nothing.
Georgia, on the other hand, they get drunk and everybody's drunk and they decide that they want to take midnight strolls. I mean, I don't see what the problem is. I mean, I loved being DD when I was growing up. Drunk driving was best.
He said you're a god at Grand Theft Auto.
Yes, I am.
So, Patrick, what is your thoughts on the final series?
Look, OKC is, to me, I think OKC is a younger team that's going to be. I don't know if they're going to. I'm going to take OKC in 7 because I do think both of these teams are really deep. Like you said, they could go 9-10, and they're not afraid to use their bench. So it's going to be huge playing against each other like that and needing your bench players. But I will say this: I don't think the starting lineups are going to be what changes the series. I think whoever's bench comes out on top is going to be the team that comes out on top. And I kind of think OKC will do it, but I do think OKC will be. It'll take 7.
Yeah, in Indiana, I mean, Indiana got a chip. They got a chip on their shoulders because they've been disrespected this whole run. People forget they made the Eastern Conference Finals last year. And what everybody said during that run was, oh, Milwaukee, who they beat in the first round, sorry, Aaron, who they beat in the first round, was injured. They were beaten up. They didn't have Giannis. And people said Indiana just got over. And then they beat the Knicks in the semifinals. And people saying, oh, well, Jalen Brunson broke his hand. OG Anunoby was injured. Julius Randle was injured too. So everybody was just making these excuses for why Indiana got there. Now here's this run. They beat Milwaukee. Again, sorry, Aaron. And people were talking about, oh, well, Damian Lillard wasn't in there. And then they beat Cleveland, the number 1 seed in the East. In 5 games. Yeah, in 5 games they beat them. And people want to say, oh, well, they were beaten up too. The game where all those people were missing, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter. Cleveland still should have won that game, y'all. So they were up 7 points with 30 seconds to go. And Indiana was able to make that up. And then they just proved they were the better team. They were better than Cleveland. And the same thing happened here. No excuses this time. Everybody for the Knicks were healthy. They had Karl Anthony Towns. They had Brunson there. Mikal Bridges was there. Indiana still beat them. They were the better team. Let me see this. He said, no, the only reason they beat the Knicks is because Tibbs doesn't know that the roster goes 15 deep and Cat was moving like a tank. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and that's the
but that's what that's what he's talking about. Is the reason why the Pacers were a better team is because of what we've been saying for 3 weeks. Pacers are willing to use their bench. Knicks were not, and that's part of the game. You know, if the coach decides that he's not going to use the bench, don't know what to tell you. You know, but to be honest with you, I don't even think if the Knicks even used their bench, they were going to beat that Pacers team. That Pacers team was just better. And the bench was a better bench because they get played, and the Knicks never played anybody off the bench that much. So me personally, I think the better team won. I was actually kind of shocked that the Knicks took Game 5 and pushed that into Game 6 because I thought the Pacers were going to take care of business personally.
Yeah,
and they should have, honestly.
Yeah, and we'll get to the knee-jerky reaction to firing Tom Thibodeau here in a little bit. But yeah, OKC, they got the MVP in SGA, Gilgeous-Alexander, and just deep roster, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, the Alex Caruso move when they made that trade to get him. You talk about a solidification. You talk about somebody coming on there and just fitting right into what OKC does with their defense and getting out in the open court, creating turnovers. That was perfect as well. And now here they are in the finals, young team. I don't know. I think they're maybe the second youngest, maybe the youngest team in the league. And it appears with the roster they have right now, they have a bunch of draft picks that they have compiled as well. There's no reason to believe OKC is going away anytime soon. OKC is going to be around for a while. And this might be the first of multiple championships. I have them in 6. I think Indiana's going to fight. They're going to scrap, and they just have a team that's not going to go down lightly. I've been hearing things, Patrick. Like people will say, "Oh, well," like somebody was saying Oklahoma should win in 4 or 5. I was like, "Goodness, I think OKC's going to win the series, but I don't think they're dog walking."
They're not sweeping the Pacers.
Yeah,
I mean, I would be surprised in 5. I would be totally shocked in 4. 6, okay, I give them that. 7 is what I think. You're not gonna. I don't think that this is any one of those. This is that one series where it's not anybody playing with their food. Like they're gonna go at each other. It will be at least 6 games.
He said Pacers are using voodoo cornfield magic. Well, I thought that was Iowa who did that. My bad. Sorry, Iowa. Sorry. Because there's
Nebraska.
Yeah, right. Indiana got
a lot of, you know.
Indiana got a lot of cornfields too, but I mean, but not like Iowa, Nebraska. But yeah, so that's what we have. So we both have the Thunder winning. It should be a good series. It begins Thursday night, and we'll look forward to a series that's gonna be highly contested. The defense, OKC's defense is ridiculous in terms of the pressure they have. But I do think also, before we move on, Indiana has an underrated defense too. They can put some pressure on you. And the job Andrew Nembhard did on Jalen Brunson in Game 6, I mean, he was all over him. I mean, Brunson got upset. He's all headbutting him and everything. Goodness.
And in that one flop that he had where he was like, and threw the ball up over the backboard, I was like, oh, come on, dude. And all I could see is LeBron doing this. And you know it's on LeBron's face. It's like, he ain't doing that right. He ain't doing it right. I got to show him how to do it. Yeah, that ain't right.
Oh, goodness. So before we move on and we talk about what happened with the teams that went out in the conference finals, Aaron says Indiana weather news stations are prepping the state for the corn sweat. Humidity from corn growth, it is indeed real. The Knicks. So the Knicks, as we talked about, they
break it up or run it again.
No, I don't know what they're gonna. They're already breaking it up if they fire in the coach. And like what Aaron pointed out, I think this is a knee-jerk reaction. I guess so. I'll throw this out here. Overall, I think this is kind of a knee-jerk reaction as well, simply because this is the furthest the Knicks have gotten in 25 years. Like 2000, literally the year 2000 was the last time they were in the conference finals in the Eastern Conference. So as much as we talk about Tibbs' lack of playing the bench, his lack of evolving, the Knicks got further than they have in 25 seasons. But on that note, if they had one of these meetings, your end of the season meetings, you come back, you start to clean out your locker, and then you have the talks on next steps. What do you want to do for the offseason going into the regular season? If the GM and the owner, and again, I don't know this to be any type of a fact, but if the GM and the owner had a talking with Tibbs and the GM, that maybe it was the GM or vice president of basketball operations or whatever fancy job titles there are today. But maybe they had the conversation of, hey, this series should have told us a lot of things. You need to play your people. You need to develop a bench and make sure when it is time, you can put these guys in, not out of necessity, not when Jalen Brunson gets in foul trouble or Karl Anthony Towns gets in foul trouble. But we need to develop a bench to have some depth. And when these guys, in the event they do get in foul trouble, then we can put these guys in and there's no drop off because they've been playing during the regular season. They know what to do when they get in there. We saw what we lost to. Indiana got this big old huge bench and they were using their people. If that conversation happened and Tibbs said, no, I'm going to do things the way I've been doing them because we've advanced further than we have in 25 years, then I can see maybe where there was a disconnect and they said that he had to go.
Well, I mean, you also have to look at it from the standpoint is that every one of those guys that he'd been playing for 40 to 45 minutes. Every single game, they're a year older. yeah, you need to develop a bench at some point because it's not going to continue to keep playing out the way you're happening that it happened to play out for you. You got to play the guys on the bench because the guys that you keep playing 40, 35 plus minutes a game, and I only say 35 plus minutes because I know Brunson was probably averaging like 42. It's gonna wear and tear. It's not something that you can just keep doing year after year and thinking that you're going to keep doing the same thing. You've got to develop a bench, and if he's not going to, I can see where those conversations led to him being fired.
And that's the thing, Patrick. Like, because we don't know that, and I'm sure some things will come out. You know how it is when you have the reports come out, and then somebody gets wind of how those conversations went, and then it'll get reported on some outlet, and maybe what we are saying right now just turn out to be the truth. I'm just saying, if I'm in the front office of the Knicks, that's probably how I would approach it. Mm-hmm. I would tell Tom Thibodeau, hey, this is not going to work. We just got ran out of the playoffs by a team that was deeper and knew how to use their bench. And so our starters ran out of gas. They totally ran out of gas. You see it, they were gassed. Mm-hmm. And you have to develop these players. And like Aaron says, yes, they have players who could come on there. When Landry Shamet and DeLone Wright came off there, they played pretty well. Mm-hmm. But Tips, for whatever reason, didn't keep them in. And like I said, them coming in was out of necessity because Jalen Brunson and Deuce McBride got in foul trouble. It wasn't a novel idea. It wasn't like Tibbs sat there and said, oh, yeah, I got these people here. Maybe I want to develop this bench. No, he put them in because he had to. And if that was the conversation that happened in between Saturday night when the Pacers eliminated the Knicks and now, then yes, that's where I could see them saying, all right, this ain't gonna work. But outside of that, Tibbs should be the coach. Yeah. Outside of that, there's no reason why he shouldn't be a coach when they have actually shown progress. And when we talk about these coaches, Patrick, a lot of times you say you can always judge it from a couple of things. One is their progression going up from season to season, and two, have the players given up on you?
Neither one of those happened.
Right.
Well, hold on. The progression happened and the players didn't give up. Let me restate that because that is what you're looking for. And those happened. Both of those happened. They progressed from year to year and none of those players giving up. And if you would have saw the players giving up, they would have done it way earlier in the playoffs. So I think that's the only possible reason that he got fired was the fact that he was not willing to progress himself and develop a bench. That's the only way I see it. So I was kind of surprised even when you told me pre-show that he got fired, and I was like, yeah, I don't know.
Aaron said, "Wait, he said what?"
Okay. Talking about me?
Yeah.
Wait, what did I say?
Okay, he said he thought that. Okay, he said if he thought they were playing. Oh, yeah. So no, Patrick was just saying he would have. Yeah. He's saying Tibbs would have played different guys if he felt they were giving up on him. Yeah. And so but just to the overreaching point, none of that happened. Like those players were playing hard. There wasn't any signs of them just saying, "I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore." Those players they looked like they were, for the simple fact that they were in the Eastern Conference Finals. You have a chance to go to the NBA Finals. I don't think there was any situation where the players just said
I'm done.
Message, I'm done, or the message was wearing thin.
The only way they said I was done was because of the fact that they just couldn't keep up anymore. They were gassed, and they just couldn't keep running 40+ minutes a game anymore. I mean, even if it went to a Game 7, the Pacers were gonna run them out of they were gonna run them out in Game 7, and it's just at that point, if you make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, you win a Game 5 even after being down 3-1. That tells you all you need to know about the players, and they did not give up on you. So, I mean, to me, like we said before, the only thing that I could say that really was that he got fired was not willing to develop that bench.
Yeah, and to Aaron's point, Game 1. The Knicks are going to look at Game 1, and they're just going to continuously kick themselves all year, all off season because of that blown lead. I think. Okay, Aaron said Tibbs and Phoenix would be interesting. That ain't working. Phoenix has nobody who wants to play defense at all, and so that ain't working. And I guess with the Knicks, and then that's the other thing. That's the question you have to wonder. If you are going to fire Tom Thibodeau, who are you bringing in? I know Taylor Jenkins is out there, the old coach for the Memphis Grizzlies, and so is Michael Malone, who, of course, was the coach of the Denver Nuggets. So, I mean, there's nothing to me that says that would be too much different because they really didn't play a lot of their bench. When Taylor Jenkins was in Memphis, he played a little bit. I would say he had maybe a 9-man rotation, maybe a 10. And Michael Malone really did. He went about 8-9 deep in Denver too, even the year they won the championship. So I don't really know how different that would be. Then maybe you get some like a up and coming coach, maybe an assistant, and maybe he plays more people. But it'll be interesting to see who they bring in. And David Fizdale, no, Aaron, no. If LeBron James ain't anywhere around, he's not good. So
well, there you go. Maybe LeBron goes to New York.
Yeah.
Throw it out there. Just toss it onto the wall, see if it sticks.
Let's just get this fair.
Let's hope he retires. Right. He just needs to retire.
Yeah,
Todd Lanes needs to retire.
Let's get this farewell tour started.
Please let it just start and let it wrap that shit up, B. Wrap it up.
So, and then on the other end with Minnesota, you have the same problem. David Finch, or Chris Finch, my bad. Chris Finch does not play people. He doesn't play people for Minnesota. And when you look at games 4 and 5, Anthony Edwards. Look.
What if New York and Minnesota just flip coaches?
They already flip players.
I know. You get the same outcome as you did last year.
Yeah.
Just different person.
That is crazy how you get the same result. I mean, because think about it, like to me, Karl Anthony Towns and Julius Randle are the same type of players, not in style. Let me clarify, not necessarily in style, but from the standpoint of these guys can give you great games, 27 and 16. And then the next game they disappear. And it's just a bunch of inconsistency. And it's really, really frustrating. And they play soft too. Like for their size, they play really, really soft. They should be going to the hoop, just dunking on people all the time. But instead, they want to stay outside on the perimeter. Julius Randle, especially, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at it. And we talked about how great OKC's defense is. But if you have a smaller guy on you, you're giving up 2-3 inches to Julius Randle. Why are you getting into the paint and fading away? Why are you doing that?
I don't know. I put my hand on his head and
yeah, right. Like you should be dominating. And it does not happen enough, which is the frustrating thing. If you're a Knicks fan and you were watching Karl Anthony Towns play, you're just mad. You're just thinking to yourself, man, this dude can give you 27 and 16 pretty easily because I mean he's got the height. He can hit the outside shot. He can hit the three. Hell, he won a 3-point shooting contest one year at the All-Star break. But it's just not consistent, and he has the absolute dumbest fouls. I've been wondering, like, why did you get that foul? Why are you pushing some dude out of bounds because you didn't get the rebound? And it's a small dude at that. The small
running across the court, out of bounds, running in, and it's like, what did I do?
So Minnesota, and so with the Knicks and Minnesota, it's the same issue. Play your people. That's got to be a conversation that happens with Chris Finch too. You need to play your people. You need to develop a bench, and if you don't, then it's going to be the same result, and then you're going to have to go. And like I said, we're looking at Anthony Edwards in games 4 or 5. He looked gassed too. You're like OKC's energy and their pressure that they bring tired him out. He didn't have that same enthusiasm, that same intensity that he brought in game 3, where he was actually getting out on the open court. He was playing defense. He was getting up on SGA and Jalen Williams, and they were bringing the ball up. None of that was apparent in game 4 or 5. He just looked gassed out and tired, just like a lot of the roster did.
Just like in game 1 and 2.
Yeah. And
tired in 1 and 2, brought everything he needed in 3, and then was done in 4 and 5.
Exactly. And Patrick, and here's another thing that's common with the Knicks and the Timberwolves. There's not much they can do to upgrade the roster. The Knicks traded 5 first-round picks to get Mikal Bridges. 5 first-round picks. Yeah. 5? Yeah, to get Bridges, who's a nice player. I think Bridges is good, but not that good. Are you serious? That's just like the trade Minnesota did to get Rudy Gobert. So now you have no assets to really do a trade. And if you are going to do a trade, you're going to gut your depth even more.
And on top of that, you're probably cap heavy anyway.
Yeah. So I don't know. So Patrick, if we did play the game, run it back or break it up, they don't have no choice. They got to run it back because they can't do anything really to upgrade the roster.
They look at the team, and they're like, "Nah, we got to break it up." And look at the banking account, and they're like, "Run it again." we'll run it again. I thought we need bench players. Run it again. Why? Run it again. Run it again.
So,
we got no trades. We got no picks. You got to run it again. We're broke.
It's they don't have a lot they can do to really upgrade the roster, and then the people who are there, particularly in Minnesota, they're going to have to figure out, like Julius Randle has an option. He's probably going to opt into that option. It's around $30 million. He's probably going to opt into that. Mm-hmm. And then Naz Reid may be gone. Now, if they lose Naz Reid, that's a big loss because that was their main dude coming off of the bench. I want to say last year he won 6th Man of the Year. Like he was that good last year.
I don't think he did. He?
I think he did. We can look it up. You know, I've been wrong on this.
I'll look it up. I didn't think he won.
I think he won 6th Man of the Year last year, and I could be wrong. But because I forget, I don't know who won it this year off the top of my head. But yeah, I think Naz Reid won it last year.
24-25, Peyton Pritchard won.
Oh yeah, that's right, for Boston. Okay.
And then you're right. Naz Reid did win last year.
All right. And so
see, that's the thing is like I swear you're like AI for that kind of stuff. Dude, like, okay, pop quiz. Who won it the year before that?
Okay, that one I don't know.
Oh, come on, you got this.
No, I don't. I do not remember that one. I don't.
Malcolm Brogdon won it.
Oh, yeah, for Boston, right?
Probably. Who won it before that though?
That I don't know. I don't know about.
Tyler Hero won it that year.
Yeah, I'm not total AI, something close, but
dude, you could probably name all 53 Super Bowls right now. Go.
Ooh,
I'm playing. I'm playing.
Hey, I know Green Bay won the first
Green Bay.
Yeah, I know Green Bay won the first two. And look, I can tell you. So look, I know this. So I know the Pittsburgh Steelers have the most, or they're tied with the New England Patriots with 6. And then it's the Cowboys and 49ers with 5, and the Packers and Giants each have 4.
And Atlanta bringing the ass in with 0.
Oh gosh. So before we get to hockey and look at the Stanley Cup final there, the STFU Club. So the STFU Club, this one is going to, pretty much the whole Knicks fan base. Now, when we say the
whole state of New York,
the whole state of New York. Now, I know not all the Knicks fans are very what's the word I want?
Opinionated.
What was it?
Opinionated.
Yeah, and look, everybody's.
But here's the problem: you're guilty by association.
Yeah,
everybody's in New York, Nueva York. STFU Knicks.
Nueva York. I love it. And there's some sensible Knicks fans in there, but I think if so, you beat the Celtics and you get to go to the Eastern Conference Finals, and you are throwing the party like you won the championship. You got people; they are surfing on security barricades through the crowd. I mean, they are climbing like
carrying the goalposts down Main Street and throwing it into the river
down Broadway.
We know. We see you.
And I think they just got a real delusional with it because they felt, well, they beat Boston, so they should waltz to the title. Yeah, they should waltz to the title. And then when it doesn't happen, here's all these knee-jerk reactions like, oh my gosh, we need wholesale changes. But a week and a half ago, you were celebrating
round draft picks.
Yeah. A week and a half ago, you were celebrating the team like they were the best thing ever. And I mean, all of them. Look, hey, Spike Lee, Tracy Morgan, Ben Stiller, all the dudes who be at pretty much every Knicks game. Yep, y'all are guilty by association too. Yep, the whole Knicks.
To be honest with you, I think as much Spike Lee dresses up in his Knicks uniforms and outfits and stuff, I think that's the curse right there.
It's a curse.
That's the curse right there. Spike Lee, you gotta go, bro.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
And look, and Spike Lee, so I'll say this, with Spike Lee and Tracy Morgan and Ben Stiller, they go to those games regardless. So
yeah, they
talk about some
they are legit fans. So
yes, you talk about some true fans, they are there. And
I gotta give them credit for that, man.
Yes.
Respect, because you're there night and day, win or loss, you're supporting your team. So yeah, shout out to them for
just
staying on the wagon.
Staying loyal.
Yeah, staying loyal. I stay loyal to my Hawks from a distance.
but hey, to the rest of the fan base, yeah, STFU Club. Yeah. So let's talk about the Stanley Cup final, which is a rematch of last year's Stanley Cup final between the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers, except this time the Oilers will have home ice advantage. So game 1 will be Wednesday night in Edmonton. And last year it went 7. And Patrick, personally, I fully expect this series to go 7 games again.
Yep.
Oh gosh, I don't know who I have winning this year though. Oh my gosh. I'm still gonna go with Florida, I think.
You are.
Yeah. Edmonton, though, there's something different about them this year. Like there's a calmness to them. Like and
they just play hockey. And here's the difference, man. One of the things that I talked to you about it the Carolina Panthers or the Carolina
Hurricanes.
Hurricanes. Yeah, the Hurricanes. That team. Yeah, the Hurricanes and the Panthers. That was throwing me off, dude. I was like, I cannot wrap my mind around that yet. Hold on. But the Hurricanes and Panthers series, we said it last week, or maybe this week before, one or two. Anyway, I said the Hurricanes do one thing really well, and that's they control the ice, and they control it very well, right? When you play a Panthers team that can control the ice, that can play the dirty spots, that can do all the things that you do, and do it better, except for that one thing, you're going to run into a buzzsaw. I did not see it that way. I figured the Hurricanes could figure it out. I came to a very clear conclusion. Until they figure out that they need to do more in the dirty areas, they're not going to win. And they're going to run up against a team like the Oilers, or they're going to run up against a team like the Panthers, and they're going to get dominated. Or the Stars, they can run up, they're going to run up against some of these teams that can do that, and they're going to get shut down. That's what happened. Now, I know you're going to go far. I know you're going Panthers in 7. But man, I think this Edmonton team's probably with a chip on their shoulder, man. I'm going Oilers in 7. I'm going Oilers in 7. They're playing with a chip on their shoulder, and they're wanting revenge. And I think this is the series they have been wanting all season. Since Game 7 of last year, now they get it. I'm gonna go Oilers in 7.
And I mean, I don't think that's an off the wall pick either, man. I mean, they wouldn't surprise me at all if the Oilers won, especially seeing what they did to the Stars. They dismantled the Stars. Yeah. I mean, absolutely did. Like that series would have been a sweep. I mean, as it was, it in essence was a sweep. I mean, Everton won 4 games in a row.
Yeah, but, I mean, Dallas won Game 1, and that was it.
It was it, and that was just a bad period. Everton had a 3-0 lead in that game. But they fell apart in the third quarter with penalties. They had crazy penalties, and Dallas's power play was not higher in that third period. Yep. And that's why Dallas was able to win Game 1. But once the Oilers said, we're going to clean up these penalties, Dallas did not have a shot. Dallas couldn't get anything going consistently. And so that brings it up, like what you said about the Hurricanes. I think it's the same question about the Stars. The Stars don't get enough dirty goals. And when you were in this part of the season, this part of the playoffs, from conference finals on, that's where the teams that are multiple, Edmonton and Florida, that's where they're gonna shine above everybody else, because they can win all these multiple ways, all these different ways. If you want to try to get it into a shootout where it's 5-4 or 6-5, Edmonton and Florida can do that. Mm-hmm. If you want to try to dirty it up and make it a 2-1 game, Edmonton and Florida can do that too. Mm-hmm. And they can play the physical game. If you want to try to hit them, they can play bully hockey back. And there's just not really a weakness with them. And so if you're the next step for Carolina and Dallas, what they do well, that's good, but they're going to have those different tentacles to extend off of that. And so when those other teams do take away plan A, they can still do plan B, C, and D and keep the ship rolling and find a way to win those games when they don't have their best stuff. Yeah.
And especially like when the way Florida and Edmonton took away shots on goal for the Stars and Hurricane, I was sitting here watching the Hurricanes shoot 35, 40 shots on goal, and they were barely getting 20. You know what I mean? It was very weird watching those two teams not get shots on goal. And I mean, even in power plays, I mean, they were shooting the puck right back down the ice, and it was constantly having to refix the formation, go back and bring it back up the ice, and it was constant. Like, they weren't getting shots on goals because they just couldn't get it. And that's a huge difference. I mean, you're looking at Edmonton and Florida. who have 4 stellar lines and three or four blue liners that, I mean, dude, some of the best in the entire league. It's going to be a great series. It was going to be a great series. You know, like I rode with the Hurricane and Stars as far as I could because I picked them both round 1.
Yep.
And, you know, I'm going to ride with them. But yeah, those 2 teams, they proved that they are the 2 dominant teams in the league this year and over the past couple of years. And it's going to be a hell of a series. So I'm gonna go Edmonton 7.
And if Edmonton is able to win, that will be the first Stanley Cup won by a Canadian team. So here's AI for you, Patrick. Since the Montreal Canadiens did it in 1993, they are the last Canadian team to win a Stanley Cup.
1993. Who was part of that team? Was Subban on that team?
No, that was
He didn't come into the league until like 95, right?
No, Subban didn't come into the league till like 2000s, dude. I mean, because he's young. Yeah, Subban's pretty young.
He just seems like he was
this is
older.
You remember Joe Sakic and no, not Joe Sakic. My bad. The goalie, Patrick Roy.
Oh,
Patrick Roy was on that team. And then I can't remember all the players that were on there, but
that was 1993 though.
That's the last time a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup. You've had a few, because of course Edmonton was in there last year.
Figure. It takes a hot place like Florida to win on the ice.
That's wild, right?
Yeah. Too bad the Thrashers could never figure it out. I really liked watching them.
Teams from Florida have been in the last 6 Stanley Cups. The last 6. Tampa Bay had a 3-year run, and Florida, this is their 3rd year in a row. And Tampa Bay won 2. Did they want to? And then they went for the 3rd, but they got beat by Colorado in 6 games. And then it's been Florida the last 3 years. Of course, the Golden Knights beat them that in 2023, and then they won last year. But yeah, the Canadian teams, Montreal was in it in 2020. That was that weird, 2021. That was that weird COVID year where you had the Canadians playing the Lightning, even though they're in the same conference. But because of how they did the divisions, the Canadians
yeah.
So, but Tampa Bay beat them there. I think Vancouver back in 2011 had a shot, but they got beat by Boston. And,
well, I guess it's time for it to go back to Canada then.
Yeah, and so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, like I said, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see either team win it. They're both great teams, and it could definitely go either way with it.
Yeah.
But Edmonton does have that chip on their shoulders, but there is a calmness to them too. I listened to Connor McDavid talk after they knocked the Stars out in Game 5, and he just said, "And we're not frazzled like we were last year. We're here, we're current, and we're ready." It's like a sense of calm. So we'll see how that works out for them against Florida this year. Before we head on out, let's look at some Major League Baseball progress reports. So we are a third of the way through the season now, and as I look at these standings, the Detroit Tigers have the best. They have the best. The Detroit Tigers have the best record in the major leagues right now. So
crazy.
It's super crazy. 40-21, 6.5 games up on the Cleveland Guardians in the American League Central. The Yankees are in first place in the East, in the AL East. 5.5 games over the Toronto Blue Jays. Toronto's playing a little bit better than I expected. And then Seattle has a half-game lead on the Astros. The Mariners have a half-game lead. Yeah, the Mariners have a half-game lead on Houston in the AL West. And then when you go over to the National League, the Mets just took over first place not too long ago from the Phillies. So they're a game and a half up on them. The Mets are a game and a half up on Phillies. The Cubs 4 games up on the Cardinals in the National League Central, and
y'all for those Brewers.
Yeah,
they're playing good right now.
They are. The Brewers just swept Philadelphia in Philly, over the weekend, and they swept Boston.
Mm-hmm.
The series before.
The series before that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then in the National League West, well, everyone thought the Dodgers were going to win away, and they still might. We'll see. But it looks like the Padres and the Giants, and I think the Diamondbacks will get it together too. They're 7.5 games back, but the Padres are just a game back, and the poor Rockies are 10-50.
They're 11-50. They won. Yeah.
Okay.
they won yesterday and today, so they're 11-50.
Okay. So yeah. So I mean, what stands out besides the fact that the
Detroit
Tigers are
Detroit? That's about the only thing I was saying. I was sitting here looking at it. God, what was it? Friday. I was looking at it because I was like in and out with the College World Series, and I was like, oh, I'll watch a little bit of MLB. And I turned it over, and I was like, what? Where'd they come from? Like, who would have thought that? I thought it was pretty interesting, though. There's a couple of things that stood out, other than the Detroit Lions playing very, very well and being the number one. God. Tigers, whoever, Lions, Tigers, Bears, and whoever it is.
Yeah.
The other thing that kind of surprised me is how well the Brewers have played over the past couple of weeks. That was actually pretty surprising because they're putting together some really good, a really good couple of weeks. Now, we'll see how well it goes when they get into. Who's their next series?
They are playing. I don't know off the top of my head.
Oh, they're still in the Reds series.
Yeah, that's right. They started the series with the Reds.
Yeah, they started it, and I think they're playing the Reds right now.
Yeah,
so they won. They swept Boston. They had that one game against Pittsburgh. They swept Boston. They swept Philly, and they are they up right now?
Down. They're down. They're down 4-2.
4-2. Okay. So, I mean, that kind of surprised me as how well they were playing. I was like, hey, okay, Brewers, doing your thing. But they played really well against that Phillies. And then Seattle on top of in the West. I thought that was pretty cool. Pretty cool that they were at the number one in the West.
So Seattle is interesting because Seattle has good pitching. The thing with them is, can their lineup stay somewhat consistent? If they can, they are very dangerous and they can make some noise if they're able to get into the playoffs. Because the pitching will be pretty consistent with Seattle. But you're going to have to score more than 2-3 runs if you're going to win. So
either that or stop the other team from scoring 6.
Yeah.
That'll help.
And so I think, continuing to look at these standings, I think I'm still waiting, and you may or may not agree with this, depending on how you feel about the team being sold. But I still think the Braves will come out and make a good push here. Because they got some people back. Spencer Strider's back. Ronald Acuna Jr. is back. Mm-hmm. And I think some things will start to get solidified there. As it is, they're 10 games back from the Mets. And the Nats, God, the Nats are 9.5 back. They're getting blasted by the Cubs right now, though.
Yeah, I think the Braves will figure some stuff out. They've always been a second half team. So let's get past All-Star, and then they tend to settle in and play baseball. So, I mean, I give them a lot of grief, but it's because the first half of the season always sucks for us Braves fans. We're always like, come on, dude. And then they'll turn it around and be like, what? We won 88 games in a World Series. What's going on? And I'm like, don't do that to me.
So
win in the first part of the season so we can coast into the playoffs.
So don't sell the team.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Let's see how the playoffs goes if we have to play Philly. Because if we have to lose against Philly again, I'm just like sell them all. Sell them. I want Truce Field gone. I want everybody gone.
You want the whole thing? They just
sell it all.
They just built that field not too long ago.
Yeah, give the field to Georgia Tech and we'll move on.
Well, at least until the All-Star break, right? Because the All-Star game's in Atlanta this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so at least wait till the All-Star break. Let's not get rid of the field yet.
Not yet. Like I said, we'll see if we have to play Philly in the first round. If we do and we lose, then I'm selling the team. Like, I don't want anything to do with the Braves anymore. They're gone.
Oh boy. Well, before we head out, what is going on with Pro Epic? Because I don't think there's anything else that's really going on. I mean, you got the NFL; they're doing their mini camps.
Dude, you forgot one thing.
But I forget.
College World Series, dude.
Oh, dude. Okay. Yes, you're right. So, I don't know what. I just know if you're a seeded team, you're in trouble.
All I know is if you're a hosted team, don't host it. Georgia, Texas, Vandy.
I mean, Ole Miss, all the teams that were seeded and hosting a regional were in danger.
Yeah, and then Georgia, don't ever host again. Just travel somewhere. Don't ever host again. We've hosted 3 times in a row, and we got waxed 3 times in a row.
And hey, in softball, Texas, let's go.
Hey, I got Texas Tech.
Texas Tech, yeah. Hey, and that pitcher they had.
I think y'all should handle that.
I do too. I think if we can get like what we were talking about earlier, if we get 4 runs, got it. Like Texas Tech hasn't scored more than 3 runs, and I don't know if they scored 3 runs in more than any game this season or in the playoffs. Or
their defense is just so freaking good, dude.
It is. No, they
don't allow teams to score.
They are so fundamentally sound.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be tough. It's. I look at Texas Tech and Texas like I looked at Texas and UTSA. When I saw that, I was like, "Ooh, that's going to be a tough." I told you earlier. I was like, I knew Texas was going to come out of that regionals, man. I knew they were. I was like, man, Texas is just a good team. But then I saw that UTSA, and I was like, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And I was like, Texas is going to have to play them twice. I knew that right off the bat. I did not see UTSA beating Texas twice. I was like, what? Oh, dude. Between that and Georgia losing in the bottom of the night, we were going into the bottom of the ninth, and I was like, okay, we've made a lot of mistakes, but we're still up 9. All right, 9-7. We're up 9-7. We're good. Walk. I was like, oh crap. I was like, just get the out. Tie game. I was like, oh, all right. We're screwed. We're screwed because this is not what we needed. Bing. And I was like, I did this right here, and he just got it up into the jet stream, and it spelled out, and I was like, so of course,
2-run homers,
huh?
2-2-run homers,
yeah. And in crazy enough, there was like out of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those 5 games, 26 home runs. They don't call it feed the trees for nothing. I hate it. I was like, first game, I was like, feed the trees, feed the trees. And we popped off with like 4 home runs in that game. I was like, feed the trees. Second game, I was like, stop feeding the trees, stop feeding the trees. Because who was it? Duke hit 4 home runs in that game. And I was just yelling, don't feed the trees anymore. They're full. So, and then Duke hit 4. I think Oklahoma State in their first game, they hit 4. Oklahoma State hit 3 more against Georgia. Dude, it was so many home runs in those 5 games, man. It was crazy. So I think they set a record, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's just weird just seeing the amount. I guess maybe it's parity, but just the amount of the teams that were hosting regionals just gone.
Yeah, I mean, 5 of them, I think 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, I mean, 1, 2. Y'all were what? 7.
7.
Ole Miss was 10.
10. Okay, so it's 10, not 9.
Yep. And I don't know. I know. So North Carolina was 5th. They stayed in. Arkansas stayed in. Arkansas was what, 3?
So hosting was Vandy out. Southern Miss out. Florida State made it. Oregon State made it. North Carolina made it. Oregon out. Coastal Carolina made it, which that's a dangerous team.
Yeah.
Auburn made it. And then Arkansas, which was my preseason pick this year. Tennessee. Clemson got out. LSU got theirs. Georgia's out. Ole Miss was out. Texas was out. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 hosted teams out.
Yeah, that's
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, I'm looking at it. These are some really good matchups, man. Miami and Louisville. That's gonna be good, dude. That's gonna be a good one. UTSA and UCLA. That's gonna be good. I'm not really looking forward to this Duke and Murray State. I don't know if that's gonna be any good. Oregon State and Florida State. What?
Very good.
A good one. Arkansas and Tennessee. That's gonna be a good one. And dude, I'm gonna tell you, man, Auburn's a good team.
Yeah,
but they better watch out for Coastal Carolina, dude.
Mm-hmm.
They better watch out because Coastal Carolina could take them in 2 games. Just saying.
Well, Coastal Carolina, wow, I mean, they've won a World Series before.
Yeah, many years ago, a couple years ago.
Yeah, it wasn't like anytime recent, but I know they won one.
Yeah, they won one, and it's been a while since Auburn won one.
Hmm.
But I mean, Arkansas is my preseason pick, and let's see how they do against Tennessee.
What's coming up for Bro?
Yeah, we don't have a lot. I think we're gonna calm down just a little bit. I think we are gonna try to film our parents versus kids kickball game. I'm trying to get the parents and kids together for that. And then me and Brantley is going to start doing some challenges on our own. And for the summer, we're gonna kind of just me and Brantley do a lot of stuff and get some challenges that you can take and replicate for other parents and kids. So once they watch the show, then they can go and replicate it, and then hopefully they can use the hashtag #HowDoYouBroEpic and send it to us, and we'll make some clips for them to put on our socials.
All right, and hey, y'all know what's going on for both for sports. I'm just working on those things. No news on that front instead in terms of, hey, they're here. Not yet. But they give it a little bit till around July. We want things to be pretty well in place by the time football season starts, and then we'll talk about college and the NFL, and then we'll have like a compliment show to have those interviews on there. So that's it. Logo design,
thumbnail.
Yeah, I know. Still the thumbnail.
Logo, thumbnail, Discord. Those are the 3 big ones. And I'm gonna stay on Charles for it.
So yes, I need that accountability. Outside of that, everybody take care. That is what we are breathing on for this evening. Y'all make sure y'all visit the Both of Sports YouTube channel and subscribe. Oh wow, I'm all off. Let's start that over again. Make sure y'all visit the Both of Sports YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, and follow the Both of Sports Facebook page. everybody, just keep tuning in as we're doing the webcasts and the shorties. We're also on the podcast forums as well, so you can check us out there. We're pretty much we're accessible, so come on, get on board and come and figure out why we're your favorite show's favorite show. Other than that,
ESPN gets all their stuff from us.
Yeah.
So just Bleacher Report.
So everybody take care. And and we will talk to y'all next week. Aaron, again, thanks for tuning on in and bringing the energy. And again, great job on what you put together, the shots that you have from the NFL draft. That was good to watch. So everybody take care, and we will talk to y'all soon.